Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have The Love Bug. This is the original. This is what started the whole Herbie franchise. Jim Douglas, played by Dean Jones, once again, the man who's in most of the 60s and some of the 70s, the leading man in pretty much almost all of those movies in that era is the lead man here in this original story about the Love Bug, nicknamed Herbie. It's him and his buddy Tennessee, played by Buddy Hackett. So yeah, we saw the sequel about around 2 weeks ago on this series, and when they go to Monte Carlo. Strangely enough, there's an episode that's there's a movie in between these where Herbie rides again. We haven't seen that yet. I think that's our only one that we haven't seen. There is supposedly, I've been told, a Wonderful World of Disney episode with the Love Bug with Bruce Campbell in it. I don't see that here listed here, so unless it has some other strange name, I don't know if we'll see that. But anyway, this one again is the original. It says 1968 here. Disney Plus has it 1969 for some reason. Not sure which is which, but it's definitely around the Summer of Love because hippies make a number of appearances. It takes place in San Francisco, and there's even a reference to Haight-Ashbury, which is a pretty heavy hippie area during that time, and because somebody thought that the car was alive or that it saved a man's life. One of the policemen says that to another policeman, and the other one says, "You've been walking that Haight-Ashbury beat too long." Yeah, well, there's a drug reference, there's smoking, there's every opportunity for Jim Douglas to get it on with Michelle Lee right there whenever Herbie locks the doors. This is really weird teamwork here. Honestly, Herbie wants them to be in love and have a relationship, much like Herbie wanted to have a relationship of his own in the Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo sequel from 1970-something. But in this case, Herbie, you don't lock the doors on a girl. And she even screams out for help to the hippies parked next to them at the drive-in burger joint. And they're just like, "We're all trapped, man." No, this woman's asking for help. She's trapped in a car. And it's not Jim's fault that he's doing this, but he seems a little turned on by the fact that she's scrambling to get out of there, and he's like, "Hey, well, how about... No, Jim. No. He eventually, comes back around and doesn't really go through with anything, but still, it's a little bit creepy that it reaches that point. But anyway, Herbie, this pretty much gives you the origins of Herbie. It doesn't tell you why he's alive, why he's sentient. It just says that he got returned to a car dealership, a fancy car dealership that doesn't really deal with Volkswagens. He gets a little old lady couldn't handle it. It was a little out of control. So it means that it was alive at a time that a little old lady had it, or we're assuming so, and that it just was a little bit too much for her to handle. She never explains why she returned it, but there you go. Only previous owner was a little old lady. And being that it's the era in which it is, we realize that when Herbie falls in love with a female car, which driven by a female driver, and there wasn't about to be any kind of LGBTQ representation back then, Herbie is most likely a boy. So it's not, I was thinking first maybe it was the little old lady who maybe died and inhabited the spirit of the car, and Herbie, but being that Herbie has a male name and everything else, they weren't going to get too complicated. So somehow Herbie's alive. Has human attributes and everything else. So yeah, I've gone on long enough trying to figure out where Herbie came from while watching this. It was a waste. shouldn't bother. What matters here is that this is a fun little adventure that they come up against Mr. Banks from Mary Poppins. What's his name? He plays a character named Peter Thorndike. He runs the dealership in which Jim Douglas somehow gets messed up with, where he defends Herbie before they've even named him. When they first see it, and the guy is like treating the car like crap. He's like, "Hey, well, don't be so mean to such a nice little car." Herbie takes a liking to him, and it follows him home. And he's accused of stealing it, and there's a whole convoluted mess as to him forcing him to buy it and everything else. But yeah, I'm getting a little bit too deep in the woods on this, and you should watch it yourself, so I'm not going to spoil anything for you. But yeah, it's lots of goofy, wacky antics. Of course, every Herbie movie has to end with a big race, and this actually they go all out with a lot of the wackiness. Not as extreme as some of the later films, but the car is literally falling apart as it's driving. It separates almost into two pieces, and Buddy Hackett has to hold on for his life, and there's all sorts of rivalry and double-crossing bets and everything else about whether this car is even going to make it, should even make it in the race to the finish line. Will they make it? Can they make it? And who will survive? Gotta watch it to see. So yeah, if you love the Herbie movies and you still haven't watched The Love Bug, and maybe you thought there was only Herbie movies that were named after Herbie, well, you gotta see the original. What confuses me is that not only in Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo does he have a new sidekick. Okay, I'm gonna ruin one thing here. Jim Douglas finds true love in Michelle Lee, and they get married. Where is she? And is there a divorce in Disney movie land? I don't know. Is she dead like all relationships have to end in Disney? Oh, but it's only when you have kids. Yeah, anyway. When you have kids, one parent must die, and then they make a movie about it. It's just the way it is. It's a Disney trope. Anyway, yeah, if you love the Disney, the Love Bug, the Herbie antics, and it's definitely for kids. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a racy undertone at times, pardon the pun. But they're jokes that are going to be completely over kids' heads, and honestly, they're not dirty. It's just a little bit of a lurid little bit of comedy here and there at Michelle Lee's expense, unfortunately. But hey, she's a pretty woman, so. And she also knows how to fix. You see here, she knows how to fix the car. She knows how to work on it. She's a mechanic. I don't know what Buddy Hackett necessarily does, but he says I think at one point he says he's not a mechanic. What are you doing here? Doug's the driver. I mean, if Jim Douglas is a driver, what's your position? You just drink Irish coffee? Come on. Anyway, all sorts of good fun, and you should definitely check it out. Let's pick tomorrow's Disney Plus Everyday Challenge episode 766. This is way up there. Come on. 766. Did we have this yet? Oh, this should be... 766 is just short of the end. Did we not have that? Oh, we had... We had the first movie, or the second movie? I think we had the second movie, yeah. You know, it's down at the very end. It's the Z's. So, we've met her before. We're about to meet her the third time. Although, the second time, because we haven't seen the original film, because I never get the originals before the sequels. 766 Xenon. Z3. Yep. It's a girl in outer space on a space station. It's Teenage Deep Space Nine. We'll see what happens in the third episode of their trilogy here. All right. I'll see you back here tomorrow with Xenon Z3. It's like X3. That should be coming to Disney Plus at some point. I know they're adding new X-Men movies right now to Disney Plus in the next few weeks. Anyway, Xenon Z3. Check it out, and we'll come back here tomorrow, talk about it.